Coming up today, we got some new beef with Trump and Walmart. We got some new chips for NVIDIA going out to China that can bring NVIDIA sales and stock price up. Bitcoin is trading at a decent level, but it's not really making any breakouts. And we got some decent earnings to watch for this week. With that being said, we have a lot to cover today, a lot of stocks, a lot of supports and resistance, and some plays to watch for next week. You don't want to miss this video. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get started. I made a PDF of everything that you need to know about trading. It can be for your day trades, swing trades, even your long term. Reason why I named it long term is because I give you guys 40 free stocks and explain why I personally think that is good for a long term investment and just everything that you really need to know for trading, how to trade charts, how to basically trade overall. It has everything that I learned to become profitable with the stock market, and hopefully this helps you out a lot. It's the first link in the description below. You guys don't have to get it. I try to teach you guys everything that you guys need to know, but this is just a step-to-step guide and just guides you through your trading career. So first off, NVIDIA to ship new AI chip for China basically, and it's basically just a modified H20 chip. But with that being said, we have been getting a lot of great news with NVIDIA, a lot of new orders, especially from other countries that didn't really order AI chips, and just a lot more AI expanding overall. With that being said, looking at NVIDIA to the upside, we can see a lot of good movement, but we did have a big sell-off and we're down at that 132 level. So honestly, watch the 130 level. And then if we break below the 130, look at it in a bearish way. But if we can hold above this 130, get up to 132.5, 133.5, 135, and then all the way up to the 136.5. And then if we could break above this, we might even be able to hit that 140 level to that 150 next week. Just have your patience with NVIDIA. You can make a lot of plays. Just have your patience, like I said before. And honestly, just trade it with the momentum and the news that is coming out, because we can have bad news that brings it down, of course. So honestly, like I said, man, it's really just taking your time, looking for a great play. We have been getting a lot of people adjusting to Bitcoin, and honestly, just a lot of Bitcoin news, a lot of people just adding it to a lot of countries, a lot of states, allowing people to use Bitcoin as a payment method. And now we're seeing Panama City launch a Bitcoin reserve. So this can bring Bitcoin's price up, and especially if more places can like basically make Bitcoin eligible for purchases, you can see just the average consumer kind of buy some Bitcoin, hold it kind of like a bank account. And honestly, man, this can bring Bitcoin's price up a bunch. Some stocks to watch with Bitcoin. Honestly, man, I recommend looking at MSTR. Coinbase, we are getting some bad news with Coinbase, but it's still going to move with Bitcoin. And a cheaper one, if you guys want to not risk too much money, IBIT, we're going to be looking at some prices, some levels and some plays with all of these stocks a little bit later. But let's get into some other news. So we have been getting a lot of news with CoreWeave. We soared over 100% since the IPO as investors see AI demand outweighing risky business model. CoreWeave has been going up a decent amount, and you can still see this momentum go up even more, especially with AI demand getting even more like news and everything coming out. We can see CoreWeave keep on breaking some decent levels. Watch that $90 level to that $100 level. And honestly, man, the CoreWeave is that play that you don't want to miss out on. And you can also play to the downside, because when it becomes overbought, maybe once it kind of leaves like the kind of the hype, and not really to say it's a meme stock, but it's not really a meme stock. It's just a hype stock that a lot of people are day trading. Once it loses all that momentum, you can see it go back down to the downside. So you can play to the downside, but honestly, don't play it right now, of course. And we do have some price targets, like $80 from $51 and just going up, and that still shows some bullish momentum. People are going to buy it based on higher price targets and add this to the long term. But just have your patience. Don't add this to your long term yet. I think that it might be a little bit slower. But with that being said, as we see in NVIDIA in the past, like a year ago, we seen NVIDIA break levels like this and honestly keep going. So keep this one on your mind, because this one can be the next NVIDIA stock that just keeps on going to the moon, and you can make a lot of money. So keep CoreWeave on your radar, and we're going to be looking at that even more daily in the daily videos, kind of just giving you guys some supports and resistance, seeing how it looks on the charts. And honestly, right now, we're looking pretty bullish, especially with the news. NVIDIA CEO says next chip after the H20 chip for China won't be from the Hopper series. So keep that in mind. It might not be as powerful as the H20, but they gotta kind of meet the regulations basically. So you gotta keep that in mind. But honestly, it's still gonna be selling pretty decent. But there is that other company in China that is kind of competing with NVIDIA. If they can make a better chip that isn't as good as the one that they're going to make for China, they might not get as many sales as they did before. But honestly, this is a wait and see to see how good the chip is going to be and the competition in China. Basically, we did get some news with Walmart basically having to put price hikes on their food and stuff like that. It's mainly food, I mean, honestly, it's a lot of things that you got to price hike, but mainly I seen food, some cleaning supplies and stuff like that. So keep that in mind next time you go to Walmart, because you will see this up, and it might bring sales down at Walmart, especially if Walmart isn't that cheap spot to go to anymore. You might see Walmart's stock price going down, especially if the sales and the revenue goes down. So keep that in mind. We have been kind of rallying back with Walmart because we did see Walmart kind of have like a tiny little sell off to like 96 to like 94. But honestly, man, I think we're gonna go back up to the $100 level, especially if we get some great news, stuff like that. But we do got some beef. So basically, Walmart did say that they're gonna hike their prices in little as this week or next week. But Trump is actually telling Walmart basically eat the tariffs. Nobody really deserves to, suffer. But at the same time, it's what tariffs are. Like, I feel like it's okay to raise the prices, but at the same time, it's also better if they don't raise the prices for the daily consumer. But of course, if there's going to be tariffs and they have to pay extra, they're going to lose revenue. It's only right for a company to do this. But at the same time, Trump is kind of fighting this and telling them not to raise the prices. So keep this on your radar for Walmart, because this might bring some more beef, basically. So you don't really want any beef between Walmart and the president of the United States. Next, we're gonna look at earnings. You guys can screenshot this. There's not really anything major unless you guys are into these, but we do got Home Depot. And honestly, man, Home Depot and Walmart are kind of connected. So you might see similar things saying that they're going to basically hike their prices and stuff like that. I'm not saying that for sure, but you might get some more news on consumer sentiment. Next is going to be Wix. I personally use Wix myself, but I just want to see how Wix really does. Maybe it might do good or bad. But honestly, man, keep these on your radar, especially Target too. We see before that Walmart is better than Target in number form. So this can really show you guys how the consumers are doing too. So keep Target on your radar for Wednesday before open. This is just going to show people how everybody's doing. BJ's maybe too. So basically for the stock calendar, we got some speeches on Monday. U.S. leading economic indicators 30 minutes after market opens. Tuesday, we don't really have too much major, just some speeches. So it might move the market depending on what they say, but might not be too major. We have another event which might honestly move the market at 12:15. So keep that on your mind and on your radar. Thursday, we do got some market movers. So we got initial jobless claims an hour before market opens. 15 minutes after market opens, we do got the PMI data coming out. So keep that in mind while trading. Don't get into a trade right away. There's literally 15 minutes. You can wait 15 minutes and you can see the initial moves and just see how the market is going. Existing home sales, and then another speech. On Friday, we got new home sales. This can probably move the market a little bit, and some speeches. So on Sunday, we do have a commencement address. So keep this in mind because it's on Sunday. So this can maybe move the market because Jerome always does if he says something. Not last week, though. Last week wasn't too bad. So back to Bitcoin, we are trading at $103,000. We have been kind of bouncing up and down, but honestly, Bitcoin hasn't really been moving as much, not really as hype. We did get up to that $105,000 level, kind of just bouncing around that $105,000 level all the way down to that $101,000 level. So keep these levels on your radar, because if we can finally make a break up or down, we can see some big selling or buy pressure with Bitcoin. We're going to go back to those stocks, MSTR, Coinbase, and IBIT a little bit later. But without further ado, man, let's get started with the overall stock market. So first off, we're going to talk about SPY. We did have a big sell-off after hours, basically, but it wasn't too major. But we're trading below that 590 now, so you really got to see how it holds. 590 on Sunday, we might get a big move, like maybe above 590 and or sell even more. So keep 590 on your radar. If we are above that, we might see some more bullish momentum, and we might be able to see 600 next week. Some levels to watch: 591.5, 594, 594.5, 597, and that 600 level. If you can break above that, 605 and 610 to the downside, look at 587, 585, 583.5, and then all the way down to that 580 level. 580, 590, and 600 are going to be three key levels to watch for next week. Apple isn't doing too bad, but it did sell off even more. So for Apple, look at that 206 or 207.5, 206, and then all the way down to 205, and then 200 to the upside, like at 209.5, 211.5, 212.5, and then all the way up to the highs of 213 around. I'm sorry, I'm just giving you guys overall levels. I do this every single day, so we do got to see it Sunday. So expect the video Sunday or Monday morning to have better levels for your day trades. But this is basically tiny little levels to watch, honestly, and just see how it opens up on Sunday, basically. NVIDIA did have a big sell-off too. I got some plays in NVIDIA. You can maybe play it to the upside, but just have your patience, see how it opens up on Sunday. because we might get a lot of selling pressure. You never know. We might have a Black Monday. With that being said, 131.5, 130, 129.5, and then all the way down to that 125 level. To the upside, look at 133.5, 134.5, 135.5, and then all the way up to that 136.5. And then after that, look at 140 and then 145. I did get some levels a little bit before, but these are just the overall levels to watch. And you can also screenshot this. These are some decent levels that I bounced off of in the past. And honestly, man, they kind of work pretty well. Palantir kind of has been moving up and down. I haven't really been trading it recently. Only trade it when it like rallies, basically. I do want to see Palantir maybe make a rally upwards, especially if we break above that 130, maybe 135. We might be able to get another rally, another mini rally or something, make a decent amount of money. With that being said, we did have a big sell off, so you can probably play the sell off. Honestly, especially if you open up at around the 125 level, probably buy a call option all the way back up to that 130 level. But honestly, just have your patience. But to the upside, like at 126.5, 127.5, 128.5, and that 130 level. And especially if it opens up, like I said, man, just buy a call option. Just see how it reacts. Market open though, if we start selling off, have your patience and then get your call option. But just see how the overall market is moving and just certainty and everything like that, and make sure that we still got good news. To the downside, like at 125, 123.5, and then that 120 level to the downside for Palantir. Please have your patience though. Tesla's another one, man. We were kind of holding above 150 or 350, but not really at the same time. So look at 350. If we can break above that 350, look at 351.5, 355, and that 360 level to the downside. If we do break below this even more, look at 339, 336.5, and then 335 to that 330 level. So just please have your patience trading next week. This big sell-off, honestly is kind of uncertain right now because we did break some key levels. So we can either continue downwards and or the market just makes a little bit of a rebound. Honestly, if the market does good or we don't get any like major bad news, we might see, the after hours or the pre-market levels maybe come back up to like VWAP area, maybe 350 around, and then especially for like the SPY, we might see it come back up to like 590, above 590 at least, and then maybe even start bouncing up even more. And or worst case scenario, we have another gap downwards, and then we start selling off even more, and the overall market just sells off. We did get some decent data, or not decent data, but we are getting some people coming out saying that inflation is going to go up, and then just basically saying that the market is going, or not the market, but the overall economy is going to do bad with the tariffs. I mean, I believe it because honestly, we haven't really had tariffs even in the past, and we're kind of trading to like the pre-tariff area. So where we didn't have tariffs basically and didn't really have this trade war still ongoing. So honestly, man, since we are near the highs, we might get that uncertainty back and just have a big sell off in the market. So please have your patience overall. But with that being said, let's look at MSTR, Coinbase, and IBIT. So MSTR, man, if just watch Bitcoin, it's going to move exactly with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's buying, it's going to buy. Bitcoin selling, it's going to sell. So to the upside, look at that 400 level. If we could break above that again, look at 405, 410, and 415. We break above 415. Bitcoin got to be at new highs recently. So if we break some new highs with Bitcoin, 420, 430. To the downside, if we start selling off, look at 390, 385, and 380. And Coinbase is pretty decent. Calls or puts based on how Bitcoin's moving. So to the upside, look at 260. And if we can stay above that, look at 265, 270. And to the downside, look at 255 and then 250. And then if we go to the plays, honestly, I show this in every single video, but the plays are around $2,000. Same thing with MSTR. They're around like 3,000 to 3,500. And then IBIT is all the way down at like $300. And I recommend trading IBIT if you guys want to trade into the Bitcoin, honestly, option plays, because you're not really going to be risking that much money. So depending on how Bitcoin moves and kind of the direction that you think it's going to go in, I recommend trading IBIT, some option plays. You can make a decent amount of money with that and just have your patience overall. With all that being said, guys, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Comment down below if you guys have any questions, and peace out.